Hey there, thank you so much for tuning into the podcast. But before I take you to the show, I have a very small request to make. Do check out the other episodes that we have created so far and follow us on whatever podcasting platform you're listening to. If you're watching this on YouTube, do subscribe to our channel. We are fairly new on YouTube, so this will help us to cater to a wider audience, reach a wider audience, and better our podcasting experience and yours as well. Along with that, I have another request. We are also there on Instagram and our page is at Please Say That Again Mate. We'll find all the latest updates on the episodes, upcoming episodes, and much more. And with that, I'll take you to your show without a delay. Thank you so much.
Or something. It's just a podcast, casual setup, uh, two not so relevant people talking and not anybody listening, but still we, prepare it in such a way that, there's an entire audience, just like IPL, watching it live or listening to us while they're doing some important things. But no, but we still do it. I have no
But
idea why.
you do sound like you're hosting some event or you are a commentator in some cricket match.
We don't we start it like that, like hello and welcome everybody, beautiful
No,
Sunday while we're
maybe
recording.
because we're millennials. Maybe we are born and brought up like that. Watching TV shows is one thing which
Watching,
made
yeah.
us like this. By the way,
Welcome back after the break. Those things.
you're listening to say that again, man. But then I was
Yeah.
saying, recently, speaking of millennials, they were upset that there is one fresh thing in market.
What's that?
Before we start the podcast, I would just want to address that. So, work or slash office spouse is one thing which is new in market. Have you heard of? I think this has annoyed millennials even more than they were already with the Gen Z like
Okay.
fraternity. They have bought new
No,
things in
what is this
markets.
office spouse? What is this we are
So
talking
they,
about?
for example, imagine now that you're working from home, right? After Mexico.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you were working from office, when you were in Pune back then, so you had some people around you which were like constants for you. If they are not in office, you might freak out कि अरे यार ये नहीं आया तो मैं क्या यार मेरा दिन कैसे
Right.
कटेगा that thing.
Today's day
And
is a little void without that person.
yeah,
I get it.
so we take it as office bestie and office buddy slash best friend jo bhi. But then they have introduced after situationships yapa they have introduced uh, office spouses, and then this is something you are allowed to do anything with your office spouse, whatever you
Anything
want.
as in I'm getting a
And
bad feeling here.
just imagine Akshay Kumar doing that flip thing. So that's the
Okay.
case. Irrespective, you have a partner or not, but then this thing is something like, I think this is some US culture again, not that
I
much.
love US. I think we should all move to US. This kind of culture just it just invites me so badly, and
But
all
then
of our listeners would be thinking, "What kind of a pervert am I?" But you introduced it, not me.
yeah, but I was saying you are anyway single, so why would anyone mind?
Yeah, I mean, even if you're single, but this
Hmm.
idea, you know, let's say
Uh,
if someone is married and has a real spouse,
exactly.
like a real time spouse, and then this office spouse thing comes into picture. What is that acceptable?
This is like open marriage again.
Yeah, yeah, they're just giving
No,
different
office
names to cheating,
people. Yeah,
infidelity.
yeah. True, true. Situationship, office spouse, and then open marriage, and then what else? Oh my
You
god.
know, there was this rumor. I mean, one of the worst rumors that every uh, TCSer would know about it. Okay,
Answer.
so back in the day, when once we joined in the early days, when once we joined TCS, so this was just making round that if you marry a TCSer, if you marry another TCSer,
Hmm.
they'll give you 1.5 lakh rupees as a holiday benefit or a vacation benefit, something like a honeymoon benefit. You can say that, and you'll also get a that nano car as a gift
Okay.
if you marry a TCSer. So we were like, right into the organization, like 1 month old, 2 months old, and we were figuring out people whom we can marry, you know, just to get that
Oh,
benefit.
so this is a serious thing. I didn't know that.
It was a false, one of the worst rumors ever spread,
Okay. Oh.
and it's viral. You go into any, you get into any group, and if there's a TCSer, you just ask him this question:
Hmm.
is this
This was
what
back
TCS
in
offers?
20,
And
I am assuming 2016 or 17,
yeah, yeah,
somewhere
around
around.
that time,
Correct.
around the 5 years, 6 years back. So it was
Mm-hmm.
so much all over the place, so much all over the place, that I literally
Hmm.
started looking out for couples who are
Hmm.
both in TCS, you know. So I went and asked them, like, are you
Yeah.
guys, do you guys
Congratulations on
both?
the nano.
Congratulations on the nano.
Directly jumping on it.
So, but it was all fake. Nothing was
But
true.
this should
A lot
have
of
been
things
a
were
thing.
fake, Priya.
This should have been a thing. This should like a proper, because I'll tell you one thing. Okay, Indian Oil Corporation. So
Yeah.
one of my friend was working there. He told me that recently Indian Oil is coming up with this scheme where if you are capable of finding a spouse within the firm,
Mm-hmm.
they will provide you some benefits. So what happened? Indian Oil was losing few of like very valuable employees from their firm
Okay.
because of the like inappropriate and like inaccessible to very like essential benefits which companies should offer, like basic amenities was not there in the city. I'll not name the cities, but then yes, they
Yeah.
were getting placed to those cities. They were earning more than a lakh or lakh was the initial salary, but then what will they do with that salary if they are not able to like meet their families and be with them?
Right.
And of course, they'll not get a potential partner if they are living in such a city. Just imagine. Why would a girl or a guy
True.
would say yes?
Yeah. Yeah.
Some practical news. So they came up with this scheme that let's get these guys married within Indian Oil firm, so that this complaint will not exist. That people are dropping off from the corporation because I'm unable to find a partner because of this situation where I'm getting transferred to such a city where basic amenities are not there, school, hospitals, and etc. So why would a person earning this much money would stay there? So they came up with this thing that let's get these guys married, and then but then this should have been opposite. Okay, these have pros and cons. First of all, cons. City will remain same. For example,
Yeah.
Parvani is located in Maharashtra. That city is lacking water. That city is lacking good schools and basic like cafes, and which really attract the uh, like metropolitan how they
True. Yeah.
develop.
Yeah. Yeah.
So why
Urbanization is not there at
hmm,
all.
people want that? People will get attracted to that. So then when you say TCS ka this thing, this is actually a good scheme. So
I
to
mean,
remain in
see,
TCS
the
and
thing with Indian Oil and TCS is mostly into metropolitan cities and tier one, tier two cities. Okay, but Indian Oil, you cannot be sure because it's something that requires a factory to be set up. So it might be at a remote
correct
district
remote
somewhere.
district, yes,
So
yes.
it might work for Indian Oil, but for TCS, you, like, if you step out of the campus, you'll find five more companies and
Yeah,
prospects to look for.
nowadays it is impossible, near to impossible. 2016, 15, it might have worked because of
I
the
don't know. It was a rumor since the beginning, Priya. There's no truth in that particular thing. They even,
but to
the
sell
biggest
nano
lies.
car was one thing, na. To sell nano car, they included this thing. Even if this was a rumor,
Yeah,
nano was into loss. Is I mean, now that I cannot see any nanos around me, might be a
true
thing. I don't
story.
know.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's a good thing. A company should come up with these. But
I
then,
mean,
um,
but coming back to the office spouse things,
hmm, hmm, hmm.
do you think this is going to be sustainable in Indian offices if it's
No
going to be
matter
taught?
millennials or like the current generation is maximum earners, they are of 25 to 30-year old age group, but they'll get annoyed because they are born and brought up in such a environment where uh, parents were evolved with the generation, that okay,
Yeah.
uh, girls and boys can, they can have like friendship, and after all of those things, that was really new to our parents, that they can go out and all. But then millennials are getting irritated because this is something else. Open marriage still irritates me, by the way, KGB.
I
Open
mean, but it
marriage,
exists.
how? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Ki situationship does exist. I can see some people around me who are into this, but they do not want to name it. So that's some hard reality. And then while I was reading it, I was like, this can be a thing in India too. We must not be aware of it. Like,
One thing that I get from all of this conversation and these new experiments is that people come up with these thoughts, come up with these experiments in order to, with this explanation that it is going to reduce our mental health. We cannot go into a committed relationship and our mind is
hmm,
not able to focus on one thing. It's this and that. And at the end, after all of these things, once they exercise all of these policies in their heads, in their lives, what happens next is they come up with even worse mental state. you know
yeah, it plays with
you
your
you talk about
brain.
situationship, you talk about this particular thing that you're talking about right now, office spouses.
Hmm.
Once you go back home, you will realize that what kind of stupidity I was into, right?
Yeah.
So all of these things, I don't know what what this generation is up to. I'm really scared.
This is something disturbing, because while you name something that people often do that with very basic things. For example, if they are rigorously moving their feet, for example, which is very common, like when people are
Yeah,
anxious or thinking about something else,
out of stress. Yeah,
they immediately put a tag that X, because of XYZ reason, and I have a I am Virgo now, so this is something related to my, no,
yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah.
because you're not taking care of yourself. It's
Oh
because
dear.
you're not, yeah, you should take out time for yourself. Do not name, do not tag your stupidity, or do not like just giving explanation for that is not always okay. It's fine, it's fine to accept it, but do not always do that. It'll annoy people. I don't know.
I
Millennials बहुत
mean,
चिड़चिड़े हुए हैं भैया, in short. कि
and they're ruining our
what is
lives,
it?
Priya. They're just ruining our
Yeah.
lives.
Gen
I
Z's are
mean,
kind of.
ideally, we should be millennials, but I think we are one generation ahead of them. We
Acha,
are older.
both
We are
of us,
older for
yeah.
our own generation. Yeah, yeah,
Maybe, maybe no.
yeah.
I'm saying millennials are irritated, so we are into it. That we do not
Yes.
want to name these things. We need to work on it. We are born and brought up in such an environment कि अभी पढ़ने का time है. It's anyway 10 p.m. We have to get back.
Yeah.
So,
We have to sleep early, get up early. I mean, not valid for you,
oh my
but
god, just waiting. I was just waiting.
we have to. I mean,
By
this
the way,
thing
there was a
still,
time when I used to wake up 6 a.m. sharp without alarm.
that was back in 1997, right?
No, it was like after 2000. I had this habit, but then office happened. Even in college, I used to wake up by
I mean, in school
6:45,
days,
7.
everybody gets up early, right? During the school days,
But yeah,
because the school
biological
start
clock
at
was set.
7.
Correct.
So, but once you move on to these offices culture, an 11 to 8 thing, you get up at like 10:30, rush to the office by 11, and all those things. It just ruins your. Anyway,
I was born early waker. Office ruined me. Tantra t-shirt. This is gonna be mine. Moving on, you were
let's
in
see.
Meghalaya last week. How was it?
Yeah, I was in Meghalaya. I want to just put it out in the world, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Deviyo Sajjano.
Hmm.
Do not go to places what you watch on Instagram
Oh,
just by
really?
watching them on Instagram. Okay,
Okay.
I'm nothing against Meghalaya. It's a beautiful, beautiful place. Lovely people, great food, great atmosphere, great weather. Everything is amazing there. But you know what? Nothing in the world. there were waterfalls, which is like the um, can say USP for Meghalaya,
Mm-hmm.
the different waterfalls. And mostly those things come on the Instagram. Like this waterfall, this is a hidden waterfall,
Hidden gems.
there's something, yeah, hidden gems.
Mm.
I have seen such waterfalls all my life in Ranchi. It's
Mm.
like 10 kilometers away from my place, you'll find waterfalls. You'll start finding waterfalls, and there are a number of them. So when I went there, I saw that okay, this is like very close. But uh, for me, it was like that. For you, people like you or
Mm.
someone who's living in, cities who have not seen, not into that landscape, it would be really good for you. It's really, really nice, really beautiful, something really amazing. Like you would be amazed from where it's coming, how deep it is. Like we came across a pond which was 15 feet by 15 feet, and it was like a well. It was 60 feet deep. It was all naturally created and all those
Thrilling.
things. So there are a lot of
Mm-hmm.
good things, a lot of good things, a lot of good people. One thing that I would like to highlight is Molingnong village, which is the cleanest village of Asia. What
Mm.
amazing people there. I got a chance to talk to one of the locals, and he told me that so they all speak English. Okay,
Okay.
they don't understand Hindi. I mean, they do, they
Mm-hmm.
try, but English is their language. I mean, to
Mm.
communicate to outsiders. And they told me a really like simple thing to understand, We started cleaning this village because there were no healthcare facilities around it. So we thought if this village is our place is dirty, and if we fall ill because of that, where are we gonna, go for treatment?
Mm.
And hence we started cleaning this village. And this started not today, or a few years back they would have named it or given it a title of the cleanest village. And it's not given by the government, it's not given by the people, it's given by outsiders, visitors who come there. So they
Okay.
just gave this very simple reason, just to take care of our health, we started cleaning this village, and now it has become a tourist hotspot.
Of course.
That's it. And it was really very clean. It really made sense. All the hype was true,
Mm.
everything was right, everything was perfectly said. But yeah, apart from that, we had a disappointment in Dauki. Dauki, the cleanest river, they call it, Umgod River, which
Mm-hmm.
is the cleanest river, where you can see transparently till the base of the river. But we were unfortunate because 3 4 days back there was a rainfall, and because of the rainfall, the transparency is lost because of fresh waters. So that has to flow away to get the cleanest, I mean, the crystal clear water back. So we were not able to witness as clear as we see in the pictures and
Mm.
everything. But the local said that, if you come in November, December, January time, I mean, there's not one day that's not clean. It's like just perfect. So that's the best time to visit Meghalaya, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. November to January.
November to January. Okay.
Yes.
And
So
you were there
now
in March. So.
it's not an off season, to be honest, because
Hmm.
now with the rainfalls you can see the waterfalls really lush green and
Mm-hmm.
full of water. But just for Dauki, if you want to see the cleanest, and that particular thing where the boat is floating on the water, you feel like it's somewhere in the air,
Hmm.
that experience you have to go in December. So yeah, apart from that, great food,
Yeah.
lovely food,
Clean food.
uh, clean food. I mean, homely food. You'll just,
Hmm.
even if you go to restaurants, you'll eat food which is more like home cooked, like your mom
You
made
will
it,
not feel,
something
yeah.
like that. Yeah.
Okay.
So it was lovely.
Yeah, and
Anyway, shall
that's
we move on
nice.
to the topics? What do
Yeah.
we have?
Yeah. You tell me, what do we have like next thing regarding the Italian government taking
Yes,
initiative to protect their language?
yes. This is a beautiful news. I think personally, it's a lovely
Hmm.
news where they're abolishing the use of English from all the government offices, parliaments, just to protect the culture. Because honestly, I'll tell you, my friends who have been to Italy,
Hmm.
they don't like people speaking in English there. Even if you go ask for directions, they'll respond in Italian. I mean, their native language. So
Hmm.
I think it's a way to embrace it. It's a way to do that, and I think it's not valid for our country because of the diversity. Like every other state has a different language, so you cannot just
Yeah,
rule out
true.
a
Mm-hmm.
universal language for us. But for most of the European countries, you'll see French people speaking French, Germans doing that, Italians
Mm-hmm.
doing that. So it's also a lot of people were giving this argument that it's a right wing government there right now, so they are always up for protecting their culture. Uh, just like in India, you would see they're promoting Hinduism, which we all know is
Yeah,
has always been the top priority.
debate.
So
But
yeah, yeah,
then here also, for example, of course, our parliament has this condition, not condition, but it just came up that we will speak in Hindi only. But then a very controversial topic that South Indians they get like they oppose this, that why can't we involve these languages too. We have Hindi, that's one thing, but then when you go down there in Chennai,
yeah,
uh, the same thing which happens in Italy, that they'll ignore if you're speaking in Hindi. They'll respond in Tamil. They will not respond in English. They will not respond in
yeah,
Hindi.
yeah,
They'll directly start speaking in Tamil. So this is also the case, and I think a similar case happened in Karnataka in Bangalore.
right.
One guy wrote this story where he was
An auto driver
how yeah,
actually,
correctly, how he
there was
was.
a video that went viral where the auto driver was
Mm-hmm.
asking the rider to speak in
Correct.
English, speak in Kannada instead of English. So, but
Might
this
be
is the
the
problem.
situation. Yeah.
I understand it totally. You know what the problem is? In our country, because of the diversity, you cannot put one universal language
True.
everywhere.
True.
Like
Hmm.
if I go to South India from North India, if a Punjabi goes from Punjab to Bangalore or Chennai for work,
Hmm.
I mean, it's just like going from one country to another country. You cannot
Yeah.
start learning the language immediately, but English has always been that mediator for people, a common ground for a lot of people,
Hmm.
right, to interact in such situations where you don't know the local language. I mean, of course, with time you try to learn that language like we did. We got to understand a bit of Marathi when we were in Pune,
Yes. Hmm.
right? Because that was mostly spoken there, but it's very close to Hindi, so people do speak Hindi as well.
Hmm.
But if we go down south, it's
It's completely
it,
different.
yeah,
So
it gets
yeah.
really difficult. It gets
Yeah.
really
Correct.
complicated
Correct.
if you don't speak the local language, because um, a lot of things work around the local language, so you have to eventually learn it. And I understand that debate that you learn the local language, but there also should be a middle ground. Like in case of emergency, you cannot expect the
But then
person
this is
to.
an eventual thing, na? I learned
This is
Marathi
an
because
eventual thing.
I've been living in Pune for 6 years now, so I can speak in Marathi. Not that I can only understand, but now I can even hold a conversation. This thing I do not believe that I'll learn in Chennai, for example, because Tamil needs a separate guidance. It will take much more time
Yeah,
to understand the grammar, and
but you
even
know
like
what, Priya? I
hmm,
get it. I get it. But in case you are supposed to work
willing
there
to.
for,
Correct.
yeah, and you have to put down the effort, you will
Of course,
eventually
I
learn.
will.
People go
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
abroad. People go abroad. They start learning Spanish.
German,
They
it's
start learning German.
Italian. Correct,
Yeah,
correct.
because there it's not their home ground, right? Where they can fight. No, you have to speak English. If you don't know the local language, just go bug off. You do what you want to.
Yep,
We
similar
won't
thing
serve you
happened in
food.
Germany also. Where few of companies they have like this is an eligible criteria. You
Exactly.
Yeah, you have to know German, because we will be talking or communicating in German only. So of course you have to pass the exam before heading to that country, if you're planning, yeah, to study there or even for a job. But then you have to hold a conversation. So this
I
has
mean,
become one
exactly.
thing. Hmm.
Forget about the regional languages. Forget about
Hmm. Hmm.
languages.
Hmm.
If you want to apply for a university in UK or US, do you pass, or Canada? Do you pass the test for IELTS and TOEFL? Right? You
Correct.
give them the score. What is that? It's an English language that you can
English
speak or
language
hold a
test.
conversation in English, because that's the
Sure.
language that's spoken there. That's the language that's the medium of education there.
So
So
everywhere
every
it's
country, yeah, everywhere is the
correct.
same, whether it's English, whether it's any other language. So I coming back to the Italian prospect where they are like abolishing the use. There's a strong word that has been quoted in all newspapers, is that they're abolishing the use of English in the parliaments, especially, and later on in all government offices. So hence, any government work that you want to get done has to be done in Italian language. So people who have migrated to Italy and want to get some job done, it
Hmm.
has to either happen in Italian, or it won't happen. You have to use a translator, because it's it shouldn't be like pressure on the locals to learn a different language. People in Spain, people in Mexico, they don't take the pain to learn English, right? They know their
Hmm.
language and they're happy with it. If you are coming there, I should not learn. So let's say India is a like a tourist, full of tourist places. Tourists from all over the world come here, but we don't learn their language to serve them. They try to understand our language. Similarly, abroad, if you want to get a job done in that place, you need to learn that language. You need to use the translator. You need to learn the basic words to get job done. I did that in Spain. In Mexico, because the place
Hmm.
where I lived, not even 1% of the population spoke English. It was all Spanish. So even if I want to buy like a Coke, like as in
You'll have
Coke,
to. Uh,
Coke, the one which we have to drink
yeah.
here.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
just just
I
just
was not
clearing with
even.
Mexico.
I was not even adding a layer. You just
You know,
said it.
when we
So,
said
by the way,
Mexico,
KGB, I
people
was
would
in
raise their
Goa, na.
eyebrows. In Goa?
So, so this language barrier, how beautifully they are trying to eliminate it and resolve it. So people have started, like local vendors have started learning Russian apart from English
Ah,
and Goan, Malvani, and Hindi.
beautiful.
They know Russian as well, so they can like talk to, because many Russians are now getting settled in Goa with their family. I've seen like
Love
four
Russians,
five families
just saying.
for other
I mean,
reasons.
nothing against
I'm guessing.
Ukrainians, but yeah, for other reasons.
Hmm. So it was good to see that they are they are very proud. They're very proud about it. That I know these four languages, so that
I
will help
was
their
so
business.
amazed. In fact, Priya, you will be really, it's a mind boggling fact. In Banaras, I saw videos of few people, not vlogs, but like regular travel videos. So there were street vendors who was selling things with a tokri on their head.
Hmm.
They used to speak 4 5 languages like French, German, English,
Business
Russian,
strategy.
Portuguese. Yeah, imagine a guy selling you golgappe is speaking in that particular language. Of course, you are going to go there and make him famous, recording on a video,
Hmm.
which is the very basic fundamental these days.
True.
So it's just, I mean, yeah, for business purposes, of course, but cannot put a mandate on it, right?
Yeah,
Like you
then
have to do it.
that'll repel from learning such languages. That'll not give an interest to for people towards people to learn that languages. Those languages, for example,
Right.
be it Russian or anything, they know there is some benefit behind it. For example, if you were
Yeah,
in
like
Maharashtra, so
we
you knew
we do
slangs.
this podcast in English, sometimes mix it with Hindi, because we think this is how we can cater the audience we are looking for, right? But there's so much of regionalism. Some Kannada podcast is doing way better than a lot of Hindi
Only.
podcasts. Yeah, because they're just targeting one audience. So this regionalism thing is so huge at this point. A Tamilian podcast is bigger than the best of best podcast all over India.
Hmm.
Is top on it's on top of the charts all over India combined.
Yeah,
But it's
I've
just
seen now
catering to one set of
categories.
people. Yeah,
Correct. Bengali and Tamilian and Kannada and then many other
yeah.
Odia. I've seen
And the
all these
best
categories in
example is the
Spotify.
movies. Best example is the movies.
Yo,
You cannot just
bro,
Hindi film industry is no longer
yo.
you know
But I'm liking
the
that. I mean, yeah, that even like how Dhanush beautifully quoted that. Let's just call it like in Indian film
that
industry, not
deep down they
categorizing
must
it.
be really happy, right? Like
Happy,
now they are
correct.
getting their due. Now
So
they have
true.
overtaken. Recently, Salman Khan made this statement that Shah Rukh, Amir, Akshay, Ajay, and I will make these youngsters run for their money. We are not out of work. It's just that some bad film choices that made
Some bad
us.
film choices.
I mean,
I think this the concerned person should be concerned
but
about it.
believe it or not,
Anyway.
these 4 5 people they have groomed an entire generation.
Well, yeah.
They've
I mean,
ruled for decades, like
yeah.
at least 2 decades.
I mean, SRK is still doing his bit for.
No, even
He's just all
Salman was
rounder.
a
Yeah.
huge hit earlier. Huge
Correct.
hit earlier. Right. Later on his films didn't do well, the story wasn't well, or some of the other reason. Akshay Kumar is
Mm.
still releasing 4 or 5 movies. Ajay Devgan is doing that. At least a couple of movies come every year. So I think one underrated actor, Saif Ali Khan. I mean, he gels up with everybody.
Oh man, yes. How can you forget him?
So all of
I,
these people, they have groomed an entire generation. So it is going to happen. It's not that South Indian cinema, this narrative that goes over all the time that they have taken over, RRR getting the Oscars, just icing on the cake.
mm.
But I think it's just a bad time. Every industry goes through it. Every person goes through it. Once they are back, they're gonna be back.
I don't know. I haven't felt that thing that uh, hashtag Bollywood boycott has negatively impacted because good movies are getting appreciated
Good
rather
movies are.
like irrespective they are released on like online platforms or they are on like you can go and watch all those movies. For example, if which movie was recently, I would say Darlings was one of those movies which had like Alia Bhatt because
Yeah,
Nepo Kid hashtag they were boycotting that. But then she was really good at it. Vijay Raj was there, Shefali Shah was there. And it's because director, screenwriting,
story,
how
everything.
much
Yeah,
effort. Yeah. What I
all those
liked
things
about that
matter at the
movie,
end.
that Alia Bhatt has worked on her Hindi. If you see Student of the Year, the way she used to pronounce words in Hindi was like everyone was
I mean,
losing hope. They were like, let's
it's
choose
more of
Pariniti Chopra
upbringing.
over Alia Bhatt. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
rich
then she was
people
working.
grow up in that atmosphere, and then they end up saying things, saying words, pronouncing words in that way. Because, I mean, they have grown in that atmosphere. It's an English speaking space, right?
I
And all
agree.
of
But
us,
then this thing has made her so humble while interacting with audience as well. After Highway,
because,
after.
yeah, you have
Hmm.
to understand that you cannot take this for granted. People who have lifted you today, just one hashtag that boycott Bollywood and Lal Singh Chadda went out of the window. It's not just only because of the boycott Bollywood, but also because of the movie, how it
Yeah,
was
correct.
made. I mean, that was also
True.
not
Completely agree.
justified. But otherwise, also, if you see that, you know, even if no matter which family you are coming from, you have to do good to sustain. You have to, you know, you cannot just take the audience for granted because they're so selective nowadays. A movie like Andhadhun, I mean, it's top class Hollywood thriller.
Hmm.
Just
It
a
was.
2 hour movie. One of the best thrillers in India, I would say. I've watched in recent times. With a great music,
What
great
do you mean?
story,
Really?
amazing
अभी
actor.
अभी अभी देखा आपने? पहले नहीं देखा था?
I have watched it earlier also. I watched it in
हाँ
the
हाँ.
theaters, but I've rewatched it recently. I was showing my mom about it, that movie, my family.
Wait a second. Did we watch this movie together in theaters? I
I'm not
remember
sure.
yeah, but it can be it can be
Can be
something which
true.
we can do. Yeah, early morning show because it's less
Cheaper
costly.
one.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on. Uh,
All right. Next topics.
next topic is something like related to Chat GPT, which I just got to know that
Again,
again Italy on the
Chat
news.
GBT again.
Yo yo, but then some countries are banning it. China, Russia being one of them, and Italy also. Concerns are right that it is somewhere like misleading, misinformation is now being surpassed, etc. But then I've seen how people are getting benefited because of how they are, you know. Managing to crack interviews, and because the curated answers are so well written by ChatGPT and explained that they are now able to crack that कि चलो अभी LinkedIn में profile खोल के then we'll copy paste that,
Right.
etc etc. That all is fine. I know this could have, I mean, AI generated models and all was extreme. Have you seen that? They are
I've seen a
replacing.
few.
Yeah.
I've seen a few. But you know, one thing with Chat GPT is
Hmm.
recently Chat GPT itself released a list of jobs that it can eat up. Okay, it had
अच्छा.
legal, it had jobs from pharma industry, job from content creation, filmmaking, jobs from IT industry. So more or less 7 or 8 industries, or you can say all of the industries were in a way involved in it. But the episode that we had with Mayank Sinha on Chat GPT and
Hmm.
the future of tech, in that he explained it really nicely that technologies keep coming, they keep evolving with time, they keep evolving with time. But what happens is the human brain is there to stay.
Hmm.
Because what happens is, let's say we created this thing and it's ending the world today. People are dying because of no jobs. We're going to end
Hmm.
this. We're going to go back to normal. We'll
Yeah,
have a
it's a
normal nine
cycle.
to five shift, right? So
True.
a lot of these things are said in history also. Like earlier there were technologies like these, during the mythological times, Mahabharata and Ramayana.
Hmm.
How did Ramji flew? Was there an aircraft at that time? No, but the technology at that time, Pushpak Viman, was way ahead of its time. So then we went back to normal lifestyle. Then from the scratch, aeroplanes were developed, and today we are doing this. So a lot of these things, people, it's a debatable that technologies come, but it's going to, if it's going to impact the jobs and the lives of people so bad,
It's
the
gonna
one thing that
it's gonna
Italy
come to
does
an
or Russia
end.
does or China does is they ban it. No more
Hmm.
use of it. So it's not going to affect us anymore. We are only going to use things which are going to make our lives easier, not stressful, not, I mean, put us out of our jobs. Imagine robots fighting cases for you in the courtrooms. Imagine
Yeah.
robots. I mean, you cannot make babies with robot, right? You need a human for that.
You don't say because they'll come up with such a thing. Where
Nobody is listening to this podcast.
this is a good idea, and then some human will start working on it. That
Yeah,
putting
sure.
sperms
Before,
and eggs.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
this
They're
can be one
all,
thing.
this area is unexplored. Let's get into it,
Massacre.
and
No, yeah. Oh my god, this
we'll get
shouldn't have been the
investors
case.
straight away from Shark Tank. But anyway,
Hmm.
let's not talk about it. Anything else you want to add about it, Priya?
Yeah, just wanted to say that I'm back at my home, like hometown. So I'm feeling a bit off because my brother is not here. Also, Somali is not here. and I was just observing how my parents are now into bhajan kirtans and only puja. Since morning they are in temple. I just wanted to quote that they just came. They just came. And when I asked them that where were they and all, they said, no, today is Hanuman Jayanti, na? So we were there. I said, yesterday also you were in temple. So they said, yeah, because, and by the way, my father has started new thing, which I'm really like, I'm enthusiastic about. He asked me to order one karaoke, and he
Wow.
said, yeah, some house party is gonna happen now from now on. So I'm really excited for that, to see my father like that, because he's now so getting so much like chill kind of guy, because he has worked for so many years, and
His
with
life.
just Sunday was his break time. Imagine, he has never complained about that. So whenever I look at him, I'm
I
like, no,
Yeah,
it's his
I
time.
love this thing that people should take up enjoyment post retirement. Not just post retirement, but I mean nowadays there are a lot of things that we do during our work hours as well. But
Mm-hmm.
for our parents' generation, where working through the week was the only option, and tier 2, tier 3 cities, no clubbing was there. They didn't had
Yeah.
families and I mean friends to hang out with, go out for restaurants, dinners and all those things. This was
Also,
not part of the culture
children were
itself.
the only priority, na?
Yeah,
Three
yeah,
of us.
everything was family, being
Correct.
around, having fun, good time with family, spending
Yeah,
time with
we
them.
are going out because Soumya Priya wanted to have dinner. We are going out because Prakha wanted to eat this. This was the case. Now my father and mother, they are like, we, they are so, by the way, KG, but there are so many post retirement parties they are going into, and I'm loving it because they're posting pictures on our group, and they're like, my father is singing very old, beautiful song, Na Tum Hame Jano, Na Hum Tumhe Jane. I'm just loving it. And now I can see where my sister is getting all these things. My father has been hiding this for long.
Lovely.
And yeah, they're
All
taking their
these
time, and
things.
I'm really liking it.
Yeah, it's really interesting, when people take up such kind of hobbies post retirement. And I hope your parents start listening to the podcast also, because we are talking about them.
Yeah, language can be one issue, but then if we'll do a podcast in Hindi, my father might take an interest on,
We'll do one.
because
We'll do one.
otherwise he'll say, you guys speak a lot. English is fine, but then you guys speak a lot and you switch topics like anything. So this can be the case. I've asked him to listen to one of our episodes. I'll ask him to listen to Soma Didi's episode, the initial one. Let's see
Okay.
how he reacts. Let's see.
All right. With that, shall we wrap up this one? It was a great,
Yes.
great, great episode talking to you again,
Yes.
Priya, after a week's break.
Yo.
And
It was.
how many episodes we are into now? This is the
This will
40th
be
one.
our yeah, 39th, I think. 39th.
Whatever
40th
it
will be
is,
the second.
39 or
Yeah.
40th, we don't know. The panelists there, the co-owner or the owner of this podcast is not aware of the number of episodes we have
Okay,
done.
it's the 40th one, because I was confused that Swamiti's one was 39th, or this will be the 39th.
Whatever it is, Priya, you just the interest of yours on this show is very evident with this particular thing. So we gotta wrap it up, because I don't want to put more stress on Priya and all of you listeners. You beautiful ones, you lovely ones. Keep listening and following us on all the platforms wherever you're listening, whichever platform. Hit the like, follow, subscribe button. You know the drill. All those things. We'll be back again next week. Thank you so
Hmm.
much.
Thank you, guys.
What? Say
Bye.
bye.
No, I just said I got a call in the middle, but then I think it got cut. I was just saying, all these things which Bhaiya just mentioned, that hit the like button and all, because it actually pushes us to make better content. I think this is how it works, how influencers say that, all these things really matter, the validation really matters, because I've seen how people message us about a
Yeah.
particular thing they got to know from our podcast, and how it motivates us to record as soon as possible, although we
And
are
we do
into
sit
a.
and talk about it all the time.
Correct.
Like,
Yes.
this is what we heard from that person, and this episode got these many listeners.
Yes,
So all of
it
these
really
things
matters.
just add up. Yeah.
So
So
thank you
thank you
for
so
that,
much.
guys. Okay.
Jai Hind
We'll
and
see
namaste,
you next
everyone.
time.
Bye
Jai
bye.
Hind.
Hey there, thanks for listening to the podcast. Just in case you liked the episode, do leave us a rating and follow us on whatever podcasting platform you're listening to. It'll be of great help if you share the podcast with your friends and tell them what podcast you're consuming. And you can also send us your questions, suggestions, feedbacks, and AMAs at pleasesaythatagainmate@gmail.com, or you can DM us on our Instagram. Our handles are there in the description of the show. And with that, I'll take your leave and see you again next week.